What's up, everybody? This is your boy Tony Henry with the Real Man Be Talking Podcast, and I got my boys right here to my left.
This is James.
This is BJ.
This is Mr. Hickman.
That took forever to say.
say.
That's crazy.
He said to my left, I thought he was going to say to my right.
Wow, we always go left. That's crazy. This is what Real Man Be Talking. We have real conversations, and we're just going to pick it back off our last episode, and we're just going to talk about how the importance of intimacy, how intimacy can really make or break up relationships and marriage and friendships and business and all of the above. And I know that last episode we, ended off by saying that we were just going to challenge ourselves with being intimate more with our spouses. So, BJ, I had a question for you.
Yo.
How did you do with being intimate with your wife? What was the things that you did?
Like,
Wait. Wait a minute.
I'm just going off the cuff here.
Wait a minute.
So,
How did I do?
how did you challenge yourself to find ways to be intimate with your spouse?
I started off on top this time.
there you
I'm
go.
just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You started
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Hey, you gotta switch it up.
Did
for
you
a
go from the
change.
crown of the head to the soles of the feet?
He's
Oh
a good
my
guy.
God.
He's a good guy.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
No. So last week we were talking about just what, like 9, 10 things. I can't remember how many it was. 10 things.
I got them written down.
Okay.
10
How
ways
many was
to increase
20-second
intimacy.
hugs, 5-minute eye gaze, 5 compliments, foreplay, speak each other's love language, 20-second kiss, state 5 things you love about them, send a naughty picture or text message, and plan a fun date, and the last one, cuddle. How many of those did you actually accomplish?
How many?
Are we doing how many?
How many?
How many?
Count the ways.
I would say at least 3 to 4.
3 out of 10? 4 out of 10.
3 to 4 out of 10. 3.5 out of 10. Is that a failing grade?
Hey, that's like what?
It's better than 0.
35%.
It's better than 0. It's improvement.
35%, can't go wrong.
35%. That's not bad.
So that's improving. Like,
I think I was already. What I should have done is wrote those down and talked about and did the
Facts.
things that I don't normally do.
Okay.
So the things that I normally do, I did continue to do that, but I just kind of tried to do it a little bit more mindful. So I would say it was a decent.
So, all right. So,
Decent time.
what were the 3.5 or the 4 that you actually did that you saw an improvement in?
Ooh, specifics.
Yeah, I think that's important.
I did a little
'Cause
bit of more.
we gotta help the
Hey,
the men out there.
That's cool.
Man, why is this? Go ahead.
Turn the volume down.
I would say probably a little bit more just being physical throughout the day, hugs, longer hugs, random kisses, a little bit more cuddling. I know we joked about that a little bit on the last episode.
That's
Some of y'all
important.
love cuddling, and then some of y'all was told not to cuddle, but try to do a little bit more holding and things like that. Those will probably be the top 3. By no means that I do it perfect or every single day or every hour, but a few more times I try to think about doing it and just doing it and just seeing
the response.
the response and kind of seeing the random smile and the, oh, you kind of like this, and okay, I see you kind of, was probably a little bit irritated this morning, and now you're kind of letting your guards down a little bit. I don't say it, but I just kind of put that in your back pocket and think about it and remember it. So, yeah, that's me.
Okay. All right. What about you, James?
The one that I did was I sent my wife a text message of just 5 things that I know that she likes and that I love about her. And, I do that, fairly often, but I was very intentional about thinking about things that I know that she's missed, whether that be cuddling or, even kissing sometimes. Like, I feel like, as you're going about your day, sometimes you do a lot of pop kisses and things like, but when you were actually dating, you know, I remember just making out a lot more and things like that, and just actually having more time. So I just sent a text message with a few of those things, and you know, she sent the heart emoji back, and you know, called me on her way to work, like, what was all of that? You know, you can hear the laughter and the voice of like, and just throughout the day, you know, she was just talking about, you know, that really was, you know, something that I wasn't expecting, and you know, you can just hear that uplift in her voice. And when she got home, you know, things were still the same, but I know I planted a good seed. And just over time, just continuing to do little things like she might be, you know, brushing her teeth in the morning. I'll just come behind her and give her a hug, little things like that, so that it's building up. So I really appreciate those 10 things that you wrote, because, you know, that keeps it front of mind for me. And just, you know, just keep knocking.
So you only did that one? So you did one out of 10?
I did the text.
You did the text?
I did the
I'm gonna let you
the
know
hug.
That text was clutch, by the way. I ain't gonna lie, I used it.
Did you?
I sure did.
Okay.
As
So
soon
we
as you sent
you
it,
gonna tell your story
as
next.
soon as I said, oh, I'm taking this.
There you go.
That thing was clutch. All right, so you did the
I did
text,
that text,
the hug.
the make out, and we cuddled. I did do the cuddling because I was like, hey, you know, we gonna get some cuddle time, and I think that was it. So I did what, 4?
Okay.
4 solid ones.
4 solid ones. All right.
You gonna go next or you gonna go last?
I'm gonna go now since we going this way.
Line.
So for me, I think I did quite a few of them. I've been, ever since you sent that text message, I screenshotted it, I copied it.
Should I read the text?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, go for
All
it.
right. I'm
Go
gonna read
for
the
it.
text.
Go
So
for it.
I
Go for
said,
it. Go for it.
I miss kissing you,
Mhm.
holding you, touching you, making love to you, and cuddling with you. A lot has been and is on my mind. Just know that you are the main thing in my thoughts. I love you.
Well, I got a heart emoji real quick after I said that.
Quick.
That thing happened so quick. I said, "Oh, we
That's
get
good
someone
stuff.
today." Yes, sir. So
It's a good one.
that was a good one. So when I sent
Points.
that to her, my wife immediately responded, and so it's been what, a minute. So on Mondays, what I started doing is I started taking her to lunch. You know, Mondays is like our day where we go to lunch, or we went to Birchwood Coffee. Shout out to Birchwood Coffee and Company, by the way, right here in Apopka, Florida. It's a black-owned business. I love their coffee.
Good coffee.
Great place to go and vibe at. We went there. We went out to eat. Went to lunch, and then, you know, we had a lot of laughing moments too as well, where we on Mondays is like our day where we go shopping, grocery shopping.
Yeah.
So, you know, just laughing and just trying to be, you know, fun, you know what I'm saying, without all of the arguing and going back and forth, and, you know, trying to take what each other's saying like so personal or whatever the case may be. So that was fun. So I did that. I even sent the naughty picture too.
Uh-oh.
Sure did. I did one of the little.
We're not going to share that one.
We ain't gonna share that one.
Keep
I
that,
did that
keep
one.
that to yourself.
Angles.
Hey, I'm just telling you what I did. So for all the guys, don't be ashamed to send your wife now talking about, you know, a little nice little pic, you know what I'm saying, like this in the bathroom, saying let you know
Very,
what
very
you're ready
effective.
for. You know what I'm saying? I did the what else did I do? The 20-second kiss, and I did the hugs. So and I cuddled with my wife too.
Hey, so
I
you
got-
got 8 out of 10?
No, I
You
did. I
all
did
10.
cuddle. I did 1, 2, 3, 4,
All right, A+.
4, and 5. So I did 5.
That's
50%.
50%. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Okay.
And that was a stretch. Or
That was
that
a
was
huge
a
stretch
Okay.
because you got to understand that, you know, when you're trying to not think about yourself in the process, you're literally being stressed because you're only thinking about your needs, and it's like, okay, I can't think about my needs. I got to think about how can I really engage my spouse without thinking about my personal needs in the process. Even though this is a give and take, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm doing this because I want something. It's like, okay, now let me really just deny myself and just be the husband. So that's what I did. I got 5 out of 10. What about you, Tara?
I got 0.5. I failed massively.
You forgot the food.
Huh?
What you?
So you forgot the food.
0.5.
All right, so 0.5, which one?
I mean, I did. What I did do was I committed to an entire weekend with at the house. So I didn't go anywhere. I stayed home all weekend. So, but at the same time, I didn't really. Quality time is where the love language is, which is like I say 0.5, and we didn't really get to spend the quality time. Most of the time it was like my kids took over, so I was
But
home.
you were still home.
Yeah, 0.5. See,
Mm-hmm.
I was home.
Present.
I didn't go nowhere. I didn't go make no money. I just stayed home all weekend long, and we still spent some time together, but just not like, I would say, quality time. We spent time together.
And then being home the entire weekend, that's like a stretch for you
Huge
to make sure.
Huge.
Okay, so that was a sacrifice.
Yeah, huge.
So that's a 2.
Yeah, I mean, I still say 0.5,
No, you deserve a 2 out of that. You stayed home. That's a stretch. You know what I'm saying?
You were
And
intentional about
you was
staying
intentional.
home.
You was
We'll leave it to
intentional.
Lord. What you say? She gave me
She's
0.25.
You say-
She was like, no comment.
What'd you say, Lord?
What you say?
I'm saying like his stretch of being intimate, trying to find intimate moments.
There you go. Give yourself credit.
Come on.
You had a good talk Sunday morning.
I did a couple things now.
Okay, now
woke
let's go
up-
back.
okay.
All right.
We woke up on
Very transparent.
Okay.
For the people that can't hear.
and we woke up on, what was it, Friday or
So,
Saturday?
wait,
and prayed.
repeat back in the mic what she said.
Yeah,
Give yourself-
repeat that.
give
because
yourself
that's-
credit.
that's-
Because you did.
Because to be
Give
honest
yourself
with you,
credit.
that you literally did quality time.
Mm-hmm.
You spoke a love language,
Mm-hmm.
and you cuddled.
We did cuddle.
Maybe
Okay,
5
boom.
minutes of eye gazing.
5 minutes of eye gazing,
Face-to-face time.
face-to-face time.
We did, actually.
Yeah.
So you
We
did
did.
about a good 4. So we all
I
in the
wouldn't
same
call it
boat.
eye gazing because, it was in the morning.
Yo,
But still, so repeat what your wife just said, because I think that's
Yeah,
fair. Because
that's
you
important.
you really belittled yourself in a moment
A
where you
little
should have
bit,
gave yourself more credit than.
So, I mean, the whole thing was really I stayed home. That was the main thing.
Yeah.
Anything, like, if y'all know me, I'm always on the go. So, for me to be home was a huge stretch. But the most important part, I forgot about that, was just communicating, being transparent with her, and letting her know what's going on. And then, separate
Which she
from
said that is something that's different for
which
you.
is something that's different. Yes,
It's a stretch.
exactly.
So
And
that's big.
in addition to that, I also woke up and prayed with her.
that's big.
That's
That's
about 3
big.
extra points right there.
Listen, you
I
get
mean,
extra
you-
points
you-
for that.
Initiated prayer too.
Cool.
Oh, wait,
Not
nah,
just-
see,
And
now
you
that's even
initiated
better.
it. Man, you got 10 out of
Initiated
10.
Listen, that you get 10.
Initiated prayer.
Come
What's
on,
more
man.
intimate than not only praying with your wife, but actually calling her not only to
Start.
come to you, but let's come together and go to our Heavenly Father together.
Yeah.
Like, what's more intimate than that?
Yeah. So I mean,
That's beautiful.
I still say 0.5. I just don't feel like I
Nah, see,
met.
Nah.
I didn't really meet the standard for my sake. So it's a lot of work for me to put in to really make the improvement. But at the same time, it's like a 5 out of 10.
so
That's good.
So how about, what are some things that we should do better, or so let's talk about how we can be better in these moments of intimacy, and what's some things that we really need to challenge ourselves on, so that way we can have this not just as a challenge, but as an everyday lifestyle. I know for me, it's literally being intentional and making sure that I consistently hug my wife, and hugging her with purpose, praying with my wife, initiating
Yeah.
the prayer moments. You know what I'm saying? Like every now and again I do it, but like, can we make it a lifestyle?
Yep.
That's something that I think I could do way better at. And for me, doing more, um, uh, I would say the more foreplay,
Yep.
the building up to whatever the day may bring with my spouse. That's what I say. Cause me, I'm a type of person. Let's just get to it right now. I ain't got time.
That was a big one for you. When
Yeah,
we talked.
let's just get to it. Like it's already been a week. Let's just go for it. Like I ain't got time for all the other. So let's just get. But I think for me, foreplay, definitely praying more, and yeah, and kids. So what are some things that you guys feel like you can do that way better to make it better for you? Go ahead, BJ.
I would say probably having more in-depth conversations throughout the week, because
That's a good one.
My wife is with the kids during the day, and I'm working during the day. And then when I get off, I go right to the kids to give her time off so she could do other stuff. So next thing you know, it's already 10, 11 o'clock, and it's time to shut down. So just going a long time, days, whatever, a week, without really having a transparent, in-depth conversation where we're both just being open and talking about things that's on our minds, on our hearts, things that we going through, things that we want. That's something that I need to challenge myself to do. So thankfully, like the other stuff, not even knowing, me and my wife kind of do that stuff without even thinking about it. We do the little kissing throughout the day. We do a little hugging throughout the day. We try to pray with each other as often as possible, at least a few times a week. We get down and dirty when it's time to get down and dirty. But the other stuff, as far as just making sure we get understanding through conversation and the eye gazing and the face-to-face and just having a real heart-to-heart conversation, definitely want to do that a little bit more.
That's good.
I would say for me, like what I was just talking about with Tyrell, of just having those moments where, I just grab my wife's hands and we pray about a situation, whether that be, a decision we're about to make, but even more in moments where maybe we're having a heated conversation and maybe her emotions are high, my emotions are high, and it's just like, all right, let's just stop. Let's invite God into this moment. And those are the times where it's just like, I'm most attractive to my wife. Like she said that to me where, when I see you praying, or when I see you reading your Bible, or when you bring us and the kids together and we pray, like that's the type of things that in a sense turn her on, and I can do that more. And it's all about making her feel more secure, like overall. Like I send those types of text messages. I always encourage her and try to uplift her, like her looks, and compliment her, and all of those things to make her secure in the way she looks, the way, if she's doing something good on her job, like giving her those compliments, but making her secure in my relationship with God by being that example. Like that's something that I can be better at. And I think that's going to be, something that I definitely work on. Like you, Tyrell, you just gave me the vision of that, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, most definitely. What about you, T?
I think he was right on point. That whole communication thing is really huge, and being transparent, obviously, that creates a vulnerability between you and your spouse. I think that's really huge, and it also is a form of foreplay too, because when she sees that you are being transparent with her, she can see that you're trying to be as honest as you possibly can. She kind of naturally gets drawn in and wants to share with you, and that just creates a whole nother process. So it's a form of foreplay in itself, and I think that if you continuously do it, you can create a nice little bond. And beyond that, I think that I was talking to my dad. For the last couple of weeks, and we just kind of talked about like finances and stuff like that. And he was just saying how it's important for you to kind of lay stuff out up front, so that you can move forward instead of trying to get what you needed to get done and then trying to figure out where your money is after that. So I think that was a good place for me and my spouse to really connect again, in the financial area where we take our money and we start putting it together and making it work. And we're both in kind of a transition moment, so I think this is a really good time for us to connect on that level and really create some balance in our household, not just for us, but really for our entire family. So I'm kind of excited about that. That's coming up.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's that intimacy, like that oneness.
Yes. Yeah.
On,
I think
on
that
all levels.
the more that we start to break down that it's good to have individuality in certain ways, but it's also important to start to connect and become closer to one person than two persons. So I'm excited about that. Yep.
That's good. Tony, did you answer already?
Yeah, I was the first one to answer.
All right. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, I was the first one to answer. But I absolutely agree that each and every one of us really have a lot of work to do as husbands for our spouses. The Bible tells us the husband loves your wives as Christ loved the church. So it's our responsibility to make sure that we are setting that example every chance that we get to love our wives unconditionally, no matter what the circumstances may be, because the Bible does says that our women are the most vulnerable. They're the weakest. So it's up to us to make sure that we're strong in their time of weakness and make sure that we're leading in a proper manner. But what happens when you are trying to lead your spouse in those moments and it seems like nothing is happening for you? What do you do then? When you want to be that husband that leads, that shows strength, you know what I'm saying? How can you be intimate in those moments or make those moments an intimate moment to expand what it is that you want to do in your marriage?
That's actually a pretty loaded question.
Yeah. I'll take a small bite
Like,
out of that
it
question.
was like 3 questions.
I'll take a small bite out of that.
I'm just saying. I'm just asking a question because it's a loaded question, but it's
a part of it is being transparent in those moments. Like I remember just over this past weekend, my wife, we were watching this it was like a podcast on fighting for your marriage, and one of the comments she made was that women are often more transparent than men as far as expressing their feelings, what they're going through, what they're thinking. They just share openly.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas we, even when we're trying to be strong, like a part of us oftentimes when we try to show strength is that we're not talking. We're just trying to get it done. We're trying to get it done. And we think that is us showing strength. But our wives want to be invited into those moments. So they know that, hey, like if let's say we're transitioning jobs, or we're trying to get money up for this or that, or we're, struggling with what we need to do with our kids, like they want to be invited into that, not to feel like they're on the outside. So, and that's a way for us, like, hey babe, like this is what I feel like I need to do. Let me share this with you. This is what I'm feeling. Like it hurts me to be in this place where I feel like maybe I can't provide, or maybe I made the wrong decision and I was yelling at the kids, like, but that's not my heart. And I'm sharing this with you to just bring you in, pray for me. And like that creates another moment too. So as we become more transparent in everything that we're going through, that creates a different type of strength. Like that's a more godly strength that they need to see. And then what they can do is receive that and not only pray for us, but as our wives, like they can complement that and give us a different kind of strength. They can pour into us at that point, because sometimes we boast up and we're strong. We almost come off hard to them, to where they want to pour into us, and it's like pouring water on a brick wall, where we need to be just a little bit softer so we can receive the help from them, even in our strength. Like we need that influence from them so that we can be even stronger. So just creating a place where we can be transparent in those moments is also a way for us to be strong. And that gives them the trust that they need also to believe in what we're saying. Like, hey, this is the direction that I think we should go. Because not only have we shared our emotions, we've brought them in. There creates a level of trust and belief in where you're at, why you're doing it, and they can, fully submit to it. So that was my little chunk.
For me to ask a loaded question, you pretty much answered it.
But it's like,
Well, I would expound on that because there's a level of kind of a mind renewing that is required in order for that to happen, and that really kind of requires a level of personal connection and development in yourself. You have to be secure in yourself, and really that kind of requires you to really go into prayer with God and really connect with him, because allowing him to secure you in that moment is what will bring you to that transparency. If you feel insecure, your transparency is going to dwindle very, 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 it's going to be very evident, to be for lack of better terms. So I think that it says, what does the Bible say? Be not conformed to this world.
Mm-hmm.
Romans 12.
But be transformed.
Romans 12 too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
By
Be
the
not conformed to the
renewing of your
world,
mind.
but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Yep.
Exactly. And so in that moment, you have to be secure in yourself. You have to be renewed in the Lord, and you have to allow him to guide you and move you into that place where, if you are insecure, then the transparency will automatically dwindle away. You're not going to say. So I've had those moments in myself where, even though I really have a huge focus on personal development, I still have these moments where I'm insecure, and I lack that transparency out of fear. There's one thing to say what you're going to do and really do what you're going to want to do, but if you don't involve your spouse in that process and you don't find a way to make it evident that she's necessary, it's not going to happen. And even though you might be getting stuff done, you're doing your job. If you don't connect with her, she's not going to be happy.
Right.
She's not going to be in tune with you, and that is like an anti-intimacy. And really, it's a turnoff for her.
Yep. That becomes an
really,
enemy.
It becomes an enemy to the bedroom, and that's not a good thing for us, because if we want to be able to have that connection, we have to make sure that we secure ourselves in the Lord, and that we allow him to drive us into making better decisions so that we can be more secure in ourselves. And that security will create the transparency that allows us to communicate with them, which creates the intimacy that we're looking for.
Amen.
That's good.
I would y'all said a lot. I would probably just add on to it, just to the point of what do you do when you're trying to be strong and then, there's some type of tension or misunderstanding. I would just say, of course, I'm still learning this as well, but trying to find a way to die to yourself. Try to find a way to still crucify that ego, crucify that flesh. Like, we don't do this perfect. We don't y'all mentioned transparency is we're trying to make our wives understand. We want them to understand. It would be perfect if they did understand. But in the perfect world, they might not always understand, but it's still our job to still sacrifice ourselves. The verse that y'all was just talking about, husbands, love your wife even as Christ loved the church and gave himself, or died for his wife, died for his bride. So whether, it would be great if my wife understood everything that I'm doing, every move that I'm making, but even if she doesn't, my mind, what I'm trying to think of is, how can I die right now? How can I sacrifice? She wants me to do X, Y, and Z. We ain't there yet. Or she wants me to do it this certain way. That's probably not the way God is leading me to do, but so we might have this moment of friction. So, but I'm gonna still try to put her first in whatever situation. I'm gonna still try to consider her, and die to myself. Even though I might want this, even though I might just want her to listen and just do it and just follow and just this is the way we're gonna do it. Let's follow this direction. And we might have this moment of tension, of confrontation, but at the end of the day, I still want to. All right, she's still my bride. She's still the vessel that God put in my under my authority, under my care. So how can I die to her or die to myself for her, I should say. So, I mean, marriage is death. So, I mean, I've only been married for a couple of years, but that's what I'm learning. Marriage is death. So, in a good way, obviously, that sounded marriage is death. But there is a part of marriage where you have to.
That's not.
You gotta constantly die to yourself.
That's so
for the greater purpose.
It's death of the individual and life of the connection,
the union,
or the union. Yeah.
Yep.
Because even before we're married, like we're dying to ourselves already, because we need to be more like Christ, not like ourselves.
Yeah.
So that becomes the first place, and then in the marriage, it's a continuation of that. Like almost you have to die daily, because I mean you're already doing that because you're trying to get closer to Christ and be more like Christ, and then you're just what you said was just so powerful. Like you're dying to yourself each and every day within your marriage, and that's really a beautiful part of marriage, to die to yourself.
It's kind of funny, like a lot of the world kind of shuns the Christian direction, but it's like if you really sit down and follow the instructions, it's a beautiful thing to live in. A lot of marriages that do fail is because they've gotten away from Christ. And I think that if we learn to do that, if we can learn to die to ourselves, a lot of marriages would last even longer than they would have ever imagined in their life. Because when we die to ourselves, we live for everybody else. And it's like, it's not to say that we're going to neglect ourselves, because you cannot rightfully give to anybody when you're neglecting yourself.
Yeah.
That's really a strange way to be selfish. But if you die to yourself and you allow yourself to live for those others, like your wife and then your kids and then their kids, you become a legacy at that point, and you create generational wealth, not even money, just generational wealth in family. And I think that that's a huge part of marriage that becomes missing, because we get so focused in on what we want and not what we need. And I think that that overtakes the marriage situation, especially from a world perspective, in the wrong way. They refuse to die to themselves. They almost advertise not dying to yourself and living for yourself. I think I was watching something on social media where two different social media campaigns. One was a marriage between a man and a woman that was dissolved because she was like, I'm gay, and he's releasing me from this relationship so I can pursue being gay. Yes, it's the strangest thing ever. I was like, that sounds like a strange way to promote separation, but that's what they were doing. They were promoting separation. And the second one I saw was, hold up, what happened in the second one? It was very strange. I know. It kind of threw me for a loop.
You're trying to process it.
Yeah, I'm trying to process it. It'll come to me in a second, so I'll let you know in a second. I just lost it.
Yeah.
But
You just lost it.
I got lost it. But needless to say, it was like they're promoting separation in the world right now as the norm. Like, instead of dying to yourself, let's separate ourselves from each other. Now I remember that they're married, and she's talking about having her own room. My kids got their own room. Why don't I have my own room? I want my own room.
Yeah.
I don't want to be with my spouse. I want my own room. I want my own vacation.
Your own dresser.
I'm going on vacation by myself.
Yeah.
I was like, they're literally, instead of promoting marriage. And
Your wife just said
connection.
she going on vacation by herself. So.
I mean, there's a time for, hey, maybe you need a, just
right.
a little
No, she's
getaway.
talking about separating.
But you're talking
herself
about
from the
separation.
spouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like, even though they're in the same house, I want my own room. I don't want to be around you.
And that's the flesh rising up right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. It's like, instead of dying to yourself,
Mm-hmm.
live for yourself only.
Yeah.
So it's like what they're promoting right now is satanic, really. But we're not gonna talk about right now.
Yeah. Real quick before you go, I want to read something for what BJ said. You know, you mentioned that marriage is death. I was reading this book, The Blessed Marriage by Robert and Debbie Morris, and this is just an excerpt, and it says, "Did you know that God designed marriage to help you die? He did not give you your spouse so that you could be happy and in love and grow old with him or her. His greatest desire for you is that you die to self. Why? Because the Bible tells us that God's plan for our lives is to become like Jesus. When you die to self and live for your spouse, you look like Jesus. And by the way, you also are happy and in love." So in dying to ourselves, we actually reflect Christ more and love our wives and our spouses better, and we're happier in doing that. So I just wanted to support what you were saying.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good, man.
So we are pretty much saying that dying is the prerequisite of having a successful marriage.
Oh yeah.
Okay. All the way around. Ladies, wives, and husbands. You gotta die to yourself. Gotta die to yourself daily.
Pick up your cross daily.
Like, pick that bad boy up before you take a pluck out of somebody else's eye. Pull it out your own eye first type situation. Everything like that. Anybody got any questions? What's on y'all mind?
You sound like you want to keep going.
No. Y'all was saying
I mean-
some good stuff. I really want to hear y'all talk more, 'cause like you was saying some good stuff, BJ. Like I was like
Wow.
sitting here like in awe, like,
I was just finna ask y'all how since y'all are double digits of years in.
oh wow.
How is marriage? What were your expectations of marriage before you got married? Don't even talk about did it meet it or not meet it. Just what were your expectations from what you knew, what you thought you saw? I know you mentioned a little bit from what you used to see on TV and stuff.
Yeah.
But what did y'all think marriage was?
I honestly thought, hey, this is going to be the best thing. Marriage is supposed to make me happy. I want to feel like I can come home, house clean. There's food on the stove. The kids will welcome me at the door. Wives welcome me at the door.
That's every man's
just that life,
Dream life.
right? And I really had to come to grips with that. Marriage is not necessarily always going to make me happy. There's going to be days where, there might not be a home cooked meal, or the kids might not welcome me at the door, but I still have to enjoy, my marriage and participate in the day to day that's going on. So I had to tear down a lot of those ideals about what marriage should be, what my wife should be doing, and had to look at myself like, what should I be doing? Because she has, things that she's thinking about. So I had a lot of ideals that really, I remember being upset with my wife because she wouldn't like pack my lunch or something. And I'm like, well, all the wives on TV do it. Like, it's not that hard. And we would like bump heads on that, like, because my love language is to serve. So I was expecting her to love me in that way. So that was like one thing where, hey, you can serve me by packing the lunch for me while I do other things. That was my ideal. But that's not how, she shows love, so we had to work through that.
That's what dying to yourself happens, because if you die to yourself, you will serve,
Yeah.
or you will do the other stuff. Any other 5 languages.
What do you think? What do you think would have to happen in order for that to come into fruition, like in reality? Like,
The ideal?
How do you? Yeah, like
She would gotta die to herself. If
yeah,
you want,
but how would we make that happen?
if okay, did I tell y'all that my wife asked me about what I would like for her to do for me, or
Yeah, we
things that
talked
would
about
help?
that.
We talked about that.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like you have to have a willingness to literally, like we've been saying, die to yourself. You know what I'm saying? If you want to see your spouse happy, or you want to see something different in your marriage, you have to die to yourself. That's
So
that's just what it
you're
is.
saying you have to place yourself in a place of service.
That's what Jesus said. That's what Jesus did. Jesus served his disciples. He
They
literally
were so confused.
he
when you really
washed
look
their
at it, like
he
you
washed their
read.
feet. He
Yeah.
literally washed their feet.
They were
That's
so
confusing.
lost.
They're like, why
But
are you
you
washing
know-
our feet? Because that's the most humblest place you could be, is at the feet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's the most dirtiest place on the body.
And we kind of, I'll take that and say, like, he showed them the example of what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, what I needed to do was like, hey, if this is my ideal, and let's say that, okay, maybe we're not quite there yet. Like, I need to participate in getting us there. Like, let me show you, okay, what it is that I like, how we can do it. You do this part and I do that part. Actually participate in getting us there.
You already been participating this whole time. We already been participating.
Yeah.
It's it's just one of the things is, okay, when it comes to when you gotta buy food for the family, do you buy it?
Like, go to the grocery store?
You gotta go to the grocery store. When you gotta go pick up the kids, hey babe, can you go pick up the kids? Hey babe, can you go do this? Hey babe, can you go do that? That's you dying to yourself to do what needs to be done for the family. It's everything has to go both ways.
Yeah.
The most of the part, for what I see, is most men are not going to complain about doing it, but most spouses, most women are going to complain about doing it because they already feel like they're doing too much, and you're like, we're both doing too much in this thing, but
So
it's our responsibility.
Is what you're saying.
But we're already doing more.
We got to do
like
more than
we
that.
have to get out of the mind frame of doing the tip. I saw a preacher say we should have a willingness to outdo one another with the open heart of, oh, so you did that? Yeah, I'm like, let's make our marriages
going out the way to serve.
fun. Like, let's go out there.
Make it a competition.
You know what I'm saying? Let's make this
food.
fun. But if we always complaining about, oh, I got this to do, as
cooking.
if the other, as if the spouse doesn't have nothing to do. Like,
But
He got the saute.
is it,
He's cooking right now. Keep
is
going,
it-
man. I'm listening.
you know, I'm
you
just
have
saying.
to do
like,
more of the right things, though. Like,
what you mean? Do more of the right things. If I just literally worked a 12-hour shift,
Right.
let's just say, right?
Mhm.
I worked a 12-hour shift, and I come home and there's no food cooked. I go in the kitchen and I cook the food. What more do you want me to do? Especially if you've been home all
You
day.
might as well go ahead and make her a sandwich too.
You know what I'm saying? It's vice versa. It's just like your wife going out working a 12-hour shift, and then you been home all day. Now she got to come home and cook. Why didn't you cook? Like, these are things that it shouldn't even be, oh, I had this to do. I had this. We both have things to do, but we have to have a willingness to see what needs to be done.
That's where it's death, though.
That's where it's
That's
death.
why it's death, because
so-
you're doing it, and even if you're not getting what you think you should get in return,
Yeah.
you still do it.
Right.
I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying, like, when you're saying what else more can you do, it's nothing. You just
Keep doing it.
wake up
And
the
that-
next day
and
and
it's
do it
not an
all
enjoyable
and die
feeling.
again,
It's
but it
it's
doesn't-
really not.
it's not an
enjoyable.
enjoyable feeling to.
But what will make it
do
an
that.
enjoyable feeling is if we take out the arguments of the bickering back and forth of, I do this and I do this, I gotta do this, we take the I out and we focus more on the we are doing this, like
You speaking French.
like we getting this thing done, like we doing what we gotta do, we are making this thing happen, like, you know, and encouraging one another. You know what I'm saying, oh, babe, I loved it when you came home. I know you worked a long shift, but dang, babe, you came home and you really did that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or you know, it's those things. I guess for me, I'm a words for affirmation person. So those are things that I like to hear, and I also love to serve. You know what I'm saying? So it like I look for stuff like that. Like I want to outdo. I want to make this thing so fun that every time I come home, it's like, dang, you did that. Shoot, I want to keep you on your toes on what's to happen next. But if it's always bickering back and forth, it's like, who's really dying then?
Yeah.
Because if I gotta die and you still bickering, that means you the one living.
So what was your original expectations
My original
before you got
expectations.
married? What was
I'm like James. Shoot, go home. You know what I'm saying? I'll go to work, come home. I'll be able to just relax with my family and not, you know what I'm saying, just enjoy coming home.
but what was her role in that vision? What did you see her doing?
Enjoy me coming home. And
So
Was she
doing
like
what
a
during
working
the day?
wife? She was
Huh?
a working wife, or was she a housewife?
she was always been an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So I expected her to be that. I didn't expect her to be nothing else. I knew exactly what I was getting myself into, knowing that she was going to be an entrepreneur. But I also was expecting her to be, to be a wife. I'm coming home, hey, you know, let the business be the business and let the home be the home. Like same thing with us as men. We let the work be the work and we let the home be the home. So, that's just what I expected. Hey, come home. Hey, let's chill. Let's watch a movie or let's just be a family.
Yeah.
That's what I expected. What was
Okay.
you?
T.Y.
I didn't really have any expectations. I was just happy to be married.
You was just sprung.
I,
You was just sprung.
I was
You
sprung.
dove head
She
first.
got
Head
me.
I think probably for me, my expectations was just to spend time, honestly, and enjoy making love all the time. As often as possible.
The
That's
freedom.
what that was.
I'm talking about without no
without
goddamn guilt, no
Yeah,
condemnation.
exactly.
We ain't gotta pray for forgiveness.
especially coming out of that world environment and diving into the Christ environment. I was like I was avoiding doing what I was doing in the world. So it was like
I ain't gonna count. I thought that too. I thought I was gonna get some mail all the time.
Like
Yeah.
I was gonna say that was an ideal too, right?
But that was
You know,
a straight
I
up
think
idea.
I still didn't have an expectation as much as I had an enjoyment to be married and to just enjoy life and the prospect of having children, because I think I've always wanted to have kids. And I told my wife when we met I wanted to have 9, and I still want 9. So we probably gonna have to adopt
100,000
at this
each.
point with 100,000 each. Exactly.
Ooh, and this Biden
So-
economy, I don't know, Doc.
Listen, 100,000 each won't buy you enough eggs, So you gotta kind of work a little bit different in today's economy for sure. But I think that the main thing for me was to just fellowship and get with someone that I felt like we can create a lifelong legacy with. So I didn't really necessarily have, I want her to do this or why. Most of the time when we first got together, we just did whatever needed to get done. Whoever was doing it was doing it. I would come home and wash the dishes if they needed to be washed.
Yeah.
I would come home and clean. The only thing I really didn't come home to do is cook.
Hold on. Is he telling the truth?
I'm
Okay.
talking when we first got together. I did everything that needed to get done.
It's tough when you got a witness in the
But it
house.
was it was
you got a
honestly
judge and a jury in the house. It's
Yeah.
kind of, boy,
It
you
was
better
honestly-
you better raise your right hand before you start talking.
It was pretty rare. It was pretty rare to need stuff to be clean because she kept stuff pretty clean. But if
Especially when you
if
have
dishes
kids
need,
yet.
yeah, exactly. But if dishes needed to be done, I would just do them. If they
Yeah.
needed to be done, and whatever needed to be done, we would just do. If she needed, if
Is
something
that
needed to be done,
is that
we
a
did it.
cultural thing? A woman come home and already cleaning
And cooking.
I mean, you will expect that.
What's that?
or is that
You will expect that,
this
but
is just good home training?
you
Say it
would
one more time.
you would
I
expect
said, you
that.
think that's a cultural thing?
The
that-
what? Cleaning.
That the
and-
woman was, you saying she was already cleaning and already having the house in order?
I don't think that was necessarily about the
Tell it.
relationship.
Tell the truth.
No, I'm serious. I don't think it was about a relationship. I just think that.
No, I'm talking
That's
about
what
her
y'all-
individually. How she, because your wife is not American.
Right.
100%
I
American,
understand
so it's
that. I'm just saying. I think she liked to keep her place clean. That was it.
Yeah,
It
wasn't
didn't
about
like, so it's an
culture.
individual thing.
So you don't
Yeah,
think
she just liked it to keep her space in order. She liked the organization and stuff like that. I was somewhat organized, but I wasn't like a super duper cleaner. But she keep her stuff organized. She keep my stuff organized.
I want to say something before you say something.
Yeah.
Before we go there,
his
let me
legs
get this one
shaking.
out. Let me. He ready to go.
Legs shaking.
So we mentioned that like I had these ideals of what I thought my marriage was supposed to be like, and what I learned in my marriage was that my wife had certain ideals too. You know, she wanted certain things of me as her husband. So like one of the things being, you know, she grew up with her dad's, like they would fix things. They would, you know, take this closet and make it into this, you know, work of art. And I was not that handyman. You know, something go wrong with the car, like I'm taking the car to the auto shop. I'm not finna get out here and spend hours working on the car. But that was her ideal. And I had to right, like I'm like,
Yeah,
man,
'cause
they
we
set
had
the bar up here.
2 pops.
So I'm like, that's not me. And then I had to realize that certain things that I had as an ideal of her, well, maybe that's just not her. So if she can accept my shortcomings from that ideal, then I can accept her shortcomings from her ideal, and then we can meet somewhere. Like, so that humbled me and helped me to die to myself more.
BJ, you got to answer though. What was your expectations?
I was probably similar to Mr. Hickman over there. I don't think I had a lot of expectations. I think I just wanted a committed friendship, committed partnership, someone just to grow with, someone just to do life with. I didn't have like you got to have this in order. You got to work this amount of jobs. We got to make love this many times a week. I just wanted us to enjoy each other, grow with each other, and just have fun. That's
imagine
it.
that
Yeah,
you probably had one expectation, and it was of yourself.
which would be what?
Go to work, bring money home.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I knew I
you
was
saw
gonna
your
work.
you saw your pop do.
Right, I knew I was.
I
gonna
actually
work.
seen him today
Did you?
driving today.
Okay.
It put a smile on my face. He's been doing that for like 30 years
man be
now.
driving.
Was he smiling?
Yeah, he was just chilling.
Did he
Like,
see you?
Nah, he didn't
Oh,
see
okay,
me.
okay.
But I saw Pop though.
Okay.
It made my heart smile though.
Yeah.
To like,
He's
and
he's probably one of the most responsible men with money I've ever met in my life.
Frugal.
big facts.
Frugal.
I don't
just
know if
say
it's
he's frugal.
frugal or
Frugal
I
or
don't know.
responsible?
I don't know, but he's
Nah,
both.
cause he was sitting by. He
spent money.
He
Don't get it
spent money.
twisted. He spent money
On
what
valuable
was
things.
necessary.
Right.
Hey, I remember when I was losing my hair, right? And I was going to the barbershop and he told me, he said, you went to the barbershop? How much you paid for them to do that? Like, boy, if you'll start doing that yourself. I was like, yes, sir.
I was not expecting.
But, you know, that's just, you know, he helped me with my finances. Hey, I was able to save that $20, $30, you know.
Just the way you started off. Hey, when I was losing my hair,
I was.
What?
I was like,
Where did that come from?
he was just helpful.
That was pretty left field right
He
there.
was being responsible
in.
with
You
my
brought it
money.
in.
My bad. It was just a funny story that I had. Here.
What'd he say to your son?
He said, you let them cut your hair for it? You could do that yourself.
You can do that yourself, man.
Get you some clippers.
That's true.
So I did learn how to save. My bad.
No,
That's
I
real.
think we needed that laugh though.
We needed that laugh.
I needed that
Man,
laugh.
that was a good one. But
Yeah.
I agree, man. He's very responsible. That's one of the people that I definitely look to, when it comes to being responsible with money. I got a couple of coaches too that are super duper responsible with how they spend money, and it's kind of directing me to be a lot more transparent with me and my spouse while we going into this new era of money making right now. So
Let it rain.
I'm gonna be. I just thought about this because I maybe I just thought this was a no brainer, but I think to be more honest, I think I did at least expect for sure I'm gonna be working, whether you work or not. That's up to you. But you gotta learn. You gotta know how to cook because if you didn't cook, it would have been a
I agree.
It would have been like a what is it called, a deal breaker.
I wouldn't say it wasn't a
It was a deal breaker?
Yeah, it was a deal breaker for me.
It wasn't a deal breaker.
If you didn't know how to cook,
it wasn't a deal
Like,
breaker
all right,
as much
like
as
basic.
I felt like it was it was
BJ said deal breaker.
one of
I mean,
those-
straight deal
Like, deal
breaker.
breaker,
Because my wife said that she wanted her husband to cook. She wasn't a cooker. Now she cooks every now and
I
again.
didn't have a lot of
but
deal breakers, but that was
I
the
didn't.
only
That's
one.
tough.
Dang, that's tough.
It's a rough one now.
Didn't know how to cook. Yeah, that would have been a deal. Like if you didn't know how to cook when we were dating, it probably would have been a turn off. Like, all right, it's not
I
really,
understand.
it's not gonna work because I don't ask for a lot. I don't cook, so
I don't think
I'ma
no
need
man. I mean, no man asks a lot. We don't ask for a lot.
I don't. Think I
What
was
do you
asking
really
for-
ask your wife for?
I didn't ask her for cooking.
Can you honestly ask that question?
I think
Can
it was
you-
just there. And
Can
I was
you
like,
ask
wow,
yourself,
this
what
is
do you
awesome.
ask your wife for? What do you
What?
ask your wife for?
As far as what?
That's my point.
just in general.
Just in general, what do you ask your wife for? You don't ask your wife for nothing.
Just listen.
To be available,
Available,
to
yes.
be available in times of need.
That's on the list. Top
be
of the list.
available.
Y'all heard
Sometimes
that? Y'all heard
it
the
is.
story? Y'all heard the story about the guy? He said that there was no women in heaven. Did you hear that story on social media? He was reading the Bible and it said that it was silence in the atmosphere.
So that means there's no women
Yeah,
in
had to
heaven.
be no women.
women in heaven.
Hey.
So it was silence in the atmosphere for a certain amount of time. It was like that was it. Everybody was like waiting for the punchline. That was it.
Think about it.
But everybody had deal breakers. Like you couldn't, if you're the person you was dating was very disrespectful. That's a
Yeah.
unless you're a weirdo that
I
just
think
like
my
that
deal-
and it turns you on.
My deal
My
breaker.
guy
was,
Tony over here.
What?
My deal breaker.
What are you
is
talking
just
about? What you
just
pointing at me for?
was,
Crazy women, you know. That's
I only dated one crazy girl.
We're not gonna go there.
One.
okay.
I ain't never going back that route again. I mean, I'm married now, so thank God I ain't married
What
her.
let you
'cause
know
would've
that?
been
What
horrible.
let you know that Deshaun wasn't crazy? How'd you figure that?
Wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
How did I know she wasn't crazy?
How'd you figure that? Did you do a questionnaire? Did you ask some of those key questions?
All our wives got a little crazy in them.
Everybody, you know.
Yeah,
Everybody
but the,
does,
the
yeah.
No-
one
no-
I no
no-
wait,
no
but the
less
one
than a-
wait,
We clarifying.
No less than a 3 crazy. We know that.
because the one
Yeah.
I dated before that child was crazy. That woman, that girl was straight up demonic.
Okay.
Like, seriously.
What you
Okay.
talking about?
I'm not saying no
not going
name.
there.
Right, this man.
Nah,
always
I'm
wants
talking
you
about-
to
You
say
always
names.
want to say
out
names.
names.
I'm not
for
saying no
names.
name.
I'm
He
not,
tryna-
I'm
I'm
not
not-
asking for
no.
names. I'm just asking for description.
After the show.
The
The one that
just-
yelled at me?
Kurtman.
Kirkman. Oh, yeah, that's fine.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I knew she wasn't crazy when, but I knew that she probably had dealt with something that, that wasn't cool. Is when we were play fighting one time, and she started the play fight. That was the crazy part. She started it.
fighting.
No, I started smacking her butt because I slammed on the bed. She hit me with the pillow. So I said, okay, cool. So I slammed on the bed. I was like, so you want to sit there and play? And then she was just like,
That
you
triggered something.
like that triggered something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't think she was crazy. I just felt like, okay, that
She was
triggered
something
something
deeper.
that, okay, she's not crazy. It's just certain things she just got triggered by, and
It was
okay,
an
we can't do
anxiety
that.
for her.
So that we just never play fight after that
Yeah.
again.
Did
No.
y'all have physical expectations? Your wife had to look or meet a certain.
Oh yeah, my
Standard.
yeah, and your feet had to look good.
Oh, that was
Boomerang.
from the
That's
movie.
the first
Hey,
thing.
that's
top-
that's facts.
You pulled
though.
the cover
Like, I would
Like,
actually
you had- you
look
had-
for
top of
that.
the line.
I had to walk.
That's
had,
important.
It is
I had to
boomerang.
walk with you, and your toes was nice. My wife has nice feet.
That's
That was
Was that
number-
a deal
was
breaker,
number
though?
one on
That
the
was
list?
that
That
was
was
definitely
deal
a deal
breaker.
breaker.
So So she ain't have to cook. She just gotta have nice feet.
Nice feet,
As long
and
as you walk in the
and
kitchen.
like we can walk. Like she had to be beautiful. I don't think I've dated not one ugly girl.
So looks is
So she
important.
had to
Be
look
crazy
good. She had to
for
be
saying she had to
presentable.
cook.
You know what I'm saying? She had to be meek. You know what I'm saying? Things like that. But like feet, because if I'm gonna be laying up with you and we rubbing feet together, I don't want to be rubbing my feet with somebody who got alligator feet.
Well, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
I do remember that movie though. I was checking some toes.
I'm just being honest. Like that's.
I think mine was just clean. Like she has to be clean. She has to smell good. She has to have good hygiene.
Well kept. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well kept.
Yeah.
I agree.
I wanted mine to be saved. I wanted a good church.
That didn't
girl.
even sound believable at that
No,
point.
for real. Like I wanted
I wanted mine to be
my wife
saved.
because I was at a place where I remember talking to God about this. I said I was struggling with being promiscuous and having a lot of women, and I was like, Lord, I need you to send me.
Oh, so you was like that.
I need you to. I got into a season of that. I did. I was like, I need you to send me someone that's saved, that's gonna help me to be holy, to die to myself. Like, show me how to do this.
I believe you now. Cause when you first said it, I
Yeah,
didn't believe
like
you.
that. So like,
That was-
because I wanted to live for God.
I'm a little shaky there.
I really wanted to live for God.
That was a requirement for me too.
I wanted to live for God in that time of my life. So that was like a deal breaker. Like I didn't want to go backwards.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I was like, she
I
needs to be
understand what you're
saved.
saying.
I got you.
And then
Because you was coming out of that.
I was coming out. I didn't
Yeah.
want to be, going backwards. So that was a deal
But-
breaker for me.
I'm sure she had to be,
She had to look good though.
and she also had to have another side. Because if she was just
Oh,
saved
yeah.
and Christian
I was-
and a nun,
Not a
She had to
virgin.
have some experience up under
Yeah.
her belt.
Oh yeah.
whether it's experience or just willing, but there's some people
That's
that
a
just like
plus.
I'm not really a sexual person. There's some women I've seen,
Yeah.
so I'm sure she had to be saved, but she also had to be
Yeah. I mean, you gotta know
willing.
what's going on.
Had to be willing,
Definitely.
available and willing, surrendered
Yes.
to the will of God.
In God's timing.
to the worship moment.
Ready to go when it's time. To go.
Here's
Yeah.
my worship. All
Wow.
of my worship.
I just want to say this real quick, guys. We have wives that truly love us. Like their hearts are for us. They want to
Shout
trust
out to
in
the
us.
wives.
They
Shout out
want
to
to
the
believe
wives.
in us. Like they want us to be the men that they see us as. Sometimes I know Tyrell, like you earlier, you were just saying like, you were kind of discrediting yourself a little bit, but like they think highly of us. Like they married us. They believe in us. Like they want to lift us up. And our job is to always create that place for us to not only be intimately physically, but to be intimately spiritually, emotionally,
Yeah.
and allow them to love on us in that way. But I just wanted to share that with y'all. Like our wives really do love us. Like they've given us their hearts, like they're everything. Like when you talk about being intimate, like they've opened themselves up to us more than just their bodies, but their entire lives. They've given themselves to us, and we have that great responsibility to love them back, to lead them to God, and to be the men that they see us as, be the men who God sees us as. So I just wanted to, share that with you guys. Like, man, I love y'all, but our wives like truly do love us. So let's do our part.
Yeah.
I love it. Hey
Amen.
man, this was a great conversation.
Die to yourself.
Yeah, die to yourself. That's gonna be the title. Die to yourself. Put that in the group chat so that when we put this video up, we know to die to yourself. What's gonna be part 2 of intimacy? That's great. So, are we gonna challenge ourselves as we close out to redo this intimacy thing all over
Oh
again?
yeah, I'm trying to get
Let's take it
90.
to another level.
Yeah, let's take it to
another
90,
level.
100%.
So I sent it in
Put
the group
list.
chat.
Did you? Okay.
Also,
Oh, yeah, you did,
and
you did.
there's no excuse to say that you don't have it.
I don't
All
have
right.
it.
That's accountability right there. I
I
appreciate
literally
that.
10 ways to improve intimacy. It's in the group chat. I'll just send it.
So we got
And
homework.
so we have homework for this week, and then we'll come back next week, and then we'll.
Here's the good news.
What's up?
He's giving y'all homework too, because he's gonna put it in the YouTube notes. So y'all got homework too.
Absolutely. Listen, if you haven't even subscribed to our YouTube channel, plan, make sure you hit the subscribe button right there at the bottom. Hit like, share, comment. Give us your feedback so we'll know how we can become better and having these conversations with you. And also go ahead and follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Real Man Be Talking Podcast. We are really, really doing our best to just come together as men and just have powerful conversations, whether it's about marriage, whether it's about friendship, business, politics, just entrepreneurship, whatever it is. We want to have that conversation, and we want you guys to hear a different perspective, because there's so many people out there doing podcasts, and I respect everybody who's doing their thing, but we want to do something that's different, that brings a different perspective and light to this YouTube world or to this podcast world. So we truly appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Listen, this is Real Man Be Talking Podcast.
One second.
Okay, 1 second. I'm talking about
Just
he
to-
hit me. I'm in a flow.
I'm
too.
so
Like,
sorry.
Dang, that's crazy.
I just wanna make sure that I re-emphasize that he's gonna put the 10 ways to improve intimacy. Okay, he's gonna put that into the YouTube notes. We love to hear back from you guys.
yes.
Comment.
We love to hear
Hashtag
back
doubt
in
itself.
comments, videos, whatever y'all want to do. Y'all can email us. I don't know what the email is, but you can get in contact with us and let us know how
you doing?
how that's working for you, and we'd love to hear back from that. Okay, now you can finish.
Now I can finish.
Yes.
Also, if you haven't checked out some of our pages, man, listen, check out unchainedexpressions.com to go and get you some phenomenal merchandise when it comes to our t-shirt, hats, all the apparel and things like that. And then go and check out Dane Dunbar Marketing and Consulting, Old Snap Productions. Like, go ahead and check out all these pages, and they'll be put into our comments, man. Listen, we love y'all. Y'all have a great night. This is Real Man Be Talking, where every man has a story. This is ours. Peace.
It's a wrap.
Chill.